Hello everyone. I got this idea from James Griffiths, who has done several of these revisiting videos. So, Kiss Rock and Roll Over. Bought this late September 1984, and this was my first Kiss album and first heavy metal hard rock album. The reason why I chose this one was there was a few reasons for it. First one was that I only had money to buy a second-hand record, so that limited the choices. I couldn't choose just any Kiss album. Second one was I wanted it to be a Kiss album that I had not heard at that point. I had been a mad Kiss fan for several months, but I had completely relied on my friends who had bought several Kiss albums, and I listened to those. And third one was that I had to have it now, not next week, now. And so this was the one that I found, and I chose this one. Let's start with showing the inner sleeve, and this one also came with a sticker of this sleeve, which my copy didn't include, and as such I never even knew that there was a sticker until sometime early 2000s, and I personally have never seen that sticker myself. So this album opens up with song I Want You, which opens up with an acoustic prelude, and I always love those things with heavy metal songs, so yeah, it's a great opening. And one of the heaviest tracks on this album. It's written by Paul. Yeah, great heavy song. Next one is Take Me, again written by Paul, and again I would say that the second fastest heavy rock song on the album. Oh yeah, I could say that I Want You is one of the rare songs from this album that the Kiss have continued to play over the years and decades, although very, very rarely they play that one. But okay, third song is Calling Dr. Love, written by Gene, and that is the one that they have kept on playing over the years and decades the most from this album. You can hear it practically on every tour. Next one is again by Paul. It's it's by Gene. Ladies' Room. And this one was one of the things that I have never been good at listening to lyrics if the album doesn't come with the lyrics. I've always been very poor at listening to lyrics that off the record. And this one included one of the things, one of the very, very numerous things that I have misheard. There's this place where the Gene sings, meet you in a ladies' room. And I always listen to that, meet you. I could never figure out what the hell is he saying that? Spit you. Spit you? What's that supposed to be? I always wondered, and it took me like decades to find out what it actually says. Yeah, great song. The A-side finishes with the Baby Driver, which is Peter Criss's only songwriting contribution to this album, and personally I think that this is the heaviest song that Peter ever wrote for Kiss. Great song. His raspy voice works very well with this one. B-side opens up with again Gene's song Love 'Em and Leave 'Em. Very much mid-paced song. Yeah, once again, great song. I should say that I love every Kiss album from 74 to 84, so basically during that whole period there aren't any song that I would not like. I love all of the songs, I love all of the albums, so obviously I'm going to say with every song here that yeah, that's a great song. But yeah, very much mid-paced song, Love 'Em and Leave 'Em. I like it has kind of like a bouncy rhythm to it, which I really like. Next up is Mr. Speed, again Paul's song, and once again, yeah, I do like this song. I think it's great, but of all the songs on this album, that feels like it's like made up from the like tried and tested parts. It feels like a song made up of parts that he had already written earlier in the years with his songs. But yeah, no complaints from me as such. I think it's a great song. Next up is Gene's song "See You in Your Dreams," which he would re-record 2 years later for his solo album. This one is a bit more heavier, a bit more hard rocking song. On his solo album, it's a bit more soulful version. I don't really have any favorite between the two. It's always, if I listen to this album, I like this one better. If I listen to solo album, I like that version better. Next song is "Hard Luck Woman," written by Paul, sung by Peter. Paul had thought of singing this song himself, but Peter insisted on singing this song, which years later Paul would feel a bit annoyed about it. He said that he wasn't that he felt bad about Peter wanting to sing the song and eventually even singing the song, but he felt bad about the way that Peter demanded the right to sing this song, threatening to quit Kiss unless he was given the right to sing this song. I feel that if I had been in Kiss at that point, and Peter would have said that, I would have just felt that it was his passion for the song rather than like meaning to quit the band. I just simply don't think that he had any real thoughts about leaving Kiss at this point. Paul wrote this song with the idea of giving it to Rod Stewart, but Rod Stewart declined. He didn't take this song, which is not surprising because this song is sounds very much like Rod Stewart's song from 1971, and by 1976 Rod was recording quite different kind of songs. Album ends with Paul's song "Making Love," which is, in my opinion, the heaviest and fastest song on this album. So great way to end this album. The album was produced by Eddie Kramer. Eddie Kramer had produced "Alive," which was their breakthrough album in a big commercial way, which was followed by "Destroyer," which was produced by Bob Ezrin. And Bob Ezrin had brought a lot of production values into their recordings, but Eddie Kramer was much more of a basic rock producer than a big time producer like Bob Ezrin was. Bob Ezrin brought a lot of different kind of gimmicks to the album, but this one is just a basic rock album. You could say that having an echo on a vocal track is the biggest production gimmick that Eddie Kramer brought to this one. One of the reasons that the Kiss chose to work with Eddie Kramer was Ace. Ace didn't get along very well with Bob Ezrin because Bob Ezrin was not the kind of guy to wait around while Ace would tinker around with the solos. Ace was never really quick one to come up with the solos. He needed time to work and develop his guitar solos. Eddie Kramer liked working with Ace and developing his solos, so he got along very well with Ace. So that's part of the reasons why they chose Eddie Kramer to be producer here. So in that sense, this is very much like a step back to the albums prior to Alive album, but nonetheless, it's very, very good one. No songs written by Ace on this album. Ace hadn't really started writing much up to this point. There was one song on Hotter Than Hell, but he would start with the next album, Love Gun, which he would also sing for the first time, after which he became more confident with his vocal abilities. Like I said, I love every Kiss album from 74 to 84, so yeah, I love this one. But I can still say that even though this was my first Kiss record, I would still, if I would place those albums from Kiss to Animalize in order, this would not be my number one. But as far as the sleeve goes, Kiss albums from the 70s, this is my favorite sleeve from the 70s. But I do have to say that I prefer the individual solo albums, and I also prefer the both live albums, Alive and Alive 2. But of the 70s studio albums, I think this one is the greatest sleeve. After this, my pace of buying Kiss albums became a bit more frequent, and obviously by today I own all of the Kiss albums. Okay, that's it for this time. Hope you like this. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment. Bye.